friend. How are you? Welcome back. It's Tess from Yard Food, and this is another session of Grow It, where I'm planting my vegetable garden and I'm taking you along with me, right along that garden path so you can see what I'm up to and maybe just follow along too. We've planted a lot of things together. We've been waiting for the warm weather, and it feels like it's finally here. But I never really believe it until it's true. And what I mean by that is, about now, I make a new friend in life. It's called the weatherman, and I check in with this weatherman almost every single night. I always look forward to see what those nighttime temperatures are going to be, so that if I've planted out a tomato into the garden, I can do something to cover it up or keep it protected if the night times are going to dip too cold. Now remember, tomatoes are a warm season crop. They love to grow in the jungle areas, the regions of South America. That's where they originated from. So we're up here in the northern tier. It's cold up here compared to where the tomato comes from. So we have to wait until it really has warmed up, both the soils and the air temperatures, in order to provide good housing for these tomato plants that we are so looking forward to putting in the ground. Now, as you make some decisions about your tomatoes, if that is on your planting list as well, there's a couple different types of tomatoes I just wanted to share with you, and maybe it'll help you make the decision that you want to make to get the right kind of tomato for your growing conditions. And that is, there is a determinate and an indeterminate type of tomato. What that means is, as the tomatoes grow, they have two different habits. One is a vining type, and that's an indeterminate. As it grows, its top just continues to shape itself, and it will bloom and set fruit all along that stem as it continues to grow. The determinate varieties grow short and sort of shrubby and have multiple stems, which will bloom, set fruit, and then bloom again and set fruit again. It sort of happens all at the same time on those plants. So think about it. Do you want a type where you have to trellis it or put in a tomato cage? Or do you want a short shrubby variety that's a little easier to grow and that maybe works good for a patio pot? Another one of my favorite things to do with planting tomatoes. Now, I'm going to be able to plant a bunch of them in my garden, and I like to grow a year's supply of tomatoes so that I've got canned tomatoes and tomato sauce and frozen tomatoes and dried tomatoes and tomatoes every way you can imagine. And if that's your plan, planting a good row in the vegetable garden is a great idea. But I wanted to share with you today my little tip. One of the things that I've learned that is super handy in the kitchen, and that is to be able to open your patio door and just reach out and quickly, for a quick thought meal, grab a handful of ripe cherry tomatoes to throw in a salad or sprinkle on top of some yummy meal, whatever it is. It's super easy if they're right there and I don't have to make a big trip up to the garden, which when I'm busy, I tend not want to do. So I'm into planting a tomato on my porch. Now, if you're going to succeed at this, there's a couple things that you want to be aware of. Choose a sunny spot and choose a container that's going to be hospitable to your tomato plant. Now, we often think of those big black nursery pots, and while those do work, there's a better thing to do. And that is, I've got this pulp pot here. They're very inexpensive to purchase, and you can get them on our site in the tomato section. So give that a look if this sounds like a good idea to you. But they're made out of a pulp material, sort of a compressed paper thing. And they function well for one very important reason. And as they're sitting in a sunny spot on the patio and the sun is hitting the side of the container, it's not black plastic. So it's not heating up the soil to the degree that black plastic will do, which means that the root system for my happy little tomato is going to stay cool and moist while its top gets all the sunshine and can grow. If it's in a black nursery pot, a lot of times that soil in those containers gets warm, and that's not what a tomato plant likes. He likes the roots to be cool and his top to be sunny and warm. So if this sounds like a good idea to you, you know where you can find them now. And it's also helpful to choose a variety that may stay more short and shrubby, the determinants, rather than a vining type that's going to require some support. Not impossible, look at me. I'm going to plant a sun gold tomato, one of my favorites, but I'm going to need to put a little container, or a little tomato cage on it so that it has some support. But there are some really cool tomatoes coming online these days that work super well for patios. And my friends at Yonder Farm Nursery, who are supplying us with these beautiful organic tomato starts, just sent me a little note to say, hey girl, we're gonna be sending you this week a couple little choices that we've never had before for the patio type tomatoes. And one variety is an early girl, that's a determinate short shrubby variety. And then there's a big beef variety that is also a determinate shrubby type that does well in pots. So if you're thinking about the patio variety, there's a whole lot of options for you now. So now you're into a couple of my favorite little secrets. A patio pot on the porch with a yummy little tomato, easy access, and always watching the weather with the weatherman so that you can make sure that the tomatoes you're planting out in your vegetable garden are appropriately timed for the weather that's at hand. Easy to do. I can't tell you how many times I've lost my tomatoes to a killing frost when I thought it was time to plant. You never know for sure. Sometimes in life it's just a gamble, but it sure helps you. It sure helps boost your success if you've got your eyes open and are paying attention to the weather at a most critical planting time in the garden. Well, I'm going to leave you with that thought then today. It's time to think about planting tomatoes. There's a lot of different types, there's a lot of different varieties, but whatever it is, you can choose the ones that most appeal to your sense of taste. So give it a whirl, enjoy your choices. I wish you luck in the tomato row. It's not hard to do. They can actually be one of the easiest crops to grow along the way. So don't hesitate. Fill your row with tomatoes. You won't be sorry you did it. Hey, I want you to know we care about you. We are committed to your success in the garden. If you feel that this information is helpful to anybody that you care about or anybody that you know is growing a garden, you have my permission to share it with them. The more of us at this garden party, the better. Next week, we're going to wrap it up with our final episode of Grow It. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but I think it's going to be one last thought to set you up for garden success. I'll look forward to seeing you again then. You take care, friend. Bye-bye. And we've opened up the list to the masterclass coming along. I'm getting super creative and thinking about how we can break this down and give you options, the full meal deal or just single little sessions. I got some good ideas going and I'm happy to share it with you, putting that all together now. But don't miss out on the details. Get on the wait list. It's up top in Upskill. I'll put you on the list and I'll get back to you as soon as I've got more ready for you. Thanks so much.